All right, the next reason that Masons give for Freemasonry not being a religion is because it offers no system of salvation. It has no teachings about how a man can go to heaven. But is that true? Well, you know, every candidate is told again and again during the first 3 degrees that God will be gracious and reward those who build their character and do good deeds. Let me document for you where Masonry teaches this. Every Masonic manual explains the symbol of the all-seeing eye, one of the symbols for God, with these words: "The all-seeing eye who pervades the inmost recesses of the human heart will reward us according to our works, our merits." What is the reward man will get because of his good works? Masonry teaches God will reward man with eternal life in the celestial lodge above. This is documented in the Masonic manual under the explanation concerning the lambskin or white linen apron. There it says, "He who wears the lambskin as a badge of a Mason is thereby continually reminded of purity of life and conduct, which is essentially necessary to his gaining admission into that celestial lodge above." Now let me ask you, does this sound to you like Freemasonry is teaching a way of salvation? If you were to hear this in the lodge, wouldn't you think that Freemasonry is saying that you can go to the celestial lodge above if you live a pure and honest life? And isn't that religion? And if you're a Christian, when the lodge teaches a man that by his good life and by his good deeds, God will admit him into heaven, isn't that contrary to your Christian teachings? Doesn't the Bible clearly teach that salvation is not by man's work? Salvation is only by God's gracious provision through Jesus Christ? Ephesians 2:8 says, "For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourself. It's the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." Well, I certainly think so. I'd like you to listen to the thoughts of the former worshipful master about what he thought he was teaching in the lodge.
Okay, I found that the working tools of each degree of Freemasonry, here we're speaking of the first, second, and third, the purpose of the working tool is to teach moral truths for the purpose of building the spiritual temple of a Mason. Now, what's the purpose of building a spiritual temple of a Mason with these working tools? The purpose is so that they can prepare this spiritual temple for that celestial lodge above. They say in their ritual that as we build this temple, we will make you a good person and pure through the working tools now that they explain, and prepare your soul for heaven above. They say this in all of the rituals of the first 3 degrees.
If after all of this you are still not persuaded that Masonry is presenting a way to heaven, listen to Masonic authority Henry Wilson Coyle talk about the Masonic funeral ceremony. In his encyclopedia, he writes, "Freemasonry has a religious service to commit the body of a deceased brother to the dust whence it came, and to speed the liberated spirit back to the great source of light. Many Freemasons make this flight with no other guarantee of a safe landing than their belief in the religion of Freemasonry." Notice he says, religion of Freemasonry. "If that is a false hope, the fraternity should abandon funeral services and devote its attention to activities where it is sure of its ground and its authority." From all of this, I can only conclude that Freemasonry is a religion because it does offer instruction and promises of how a man may get to heaven. That's just another way of saying that Freemasonry is presenting a plan of salvation.